Hi, Jim Distortion here, doing a daily short for Distortion's Got Issues on the subject of feminism.
It's okay, it's not as bad as it sounds. Don't turn off yet.
Feminism isn't just about women shouting it's not fair at men and men resenting it. What feminism actually is about freedom for everyone. So every woman, every man, every whatever these days in these genders, they all have a fair crack at the whip. Finding out that, you know, maybe you don't have to butt your head against a wall because you're male, because you're female. You're not right or wrong because you're male and female. Maybe you could look at it, instead of calling it feminism, call it humanism. Everyone who wants everyone else to have a fair crack at the whip is a humanist. But also, it's the same thinking as feminism. The trouble with feminism is now, in the perceived world, is that misogyny is a big thing, but it's normalised. Everyone assumes that because normal behaviour is what happens, that's the way it should be, and you know, we've accepted that and that's fine. Well, the reality of it is it shouldn't happen. I am no saint in this world, but I don't judge someone because they're male or female or gendered, whatever. You know, the way I judge people is on how they act, what they say, what they do. Because if you're it doesn't really matter if you're male or female, you're still it's not a good thing to be that. It's not a good thing to be, you know, pushing people away because they're a different gender. What the problem with all this is I think really, is the name feminism suggests that we females want to be better than men. And men have always been better than women, so they resent it. The reality of it is I am a man. I'm also a man who was born in the 70s, and I'm not very socially enlightened. But what I do see is the fact that if there is fairness, equal opportunities for all genders makes sense to me. Because I have always supported the notion that maybe it's the best person for the job that gets the job, right? Regardless of whether you're a man, a woman, a hedgehog, a dung beetle, if you're better at something than somebody else, you should get the job. There are so many stereotypes these days. People have to jump through hoops for this stuff, and I talked about that before. But you know, when you are looking for somebody to fill a place, nobody should be able to say to you, you have to have a woman, you have to have a black woman, you have to have a Mexican woman, you have to have a black man, you have to have a white man. You shouldn't have any kind of colour, it doesn't matter. Okay, because less and less the world is becoming about what people's actual abilities are. It's becoming more and more about, you know, stereotypes influencing the way people perceive what they do. Now, I have employed people over the years, and I have prided myself in being completely and utterly oblivious to whatever they are. And you know, when I was an Oddbins manager selling wine bottles, it made no difference to me what colour, creed, race or gender anyone was. The only thing was is, can you talk to customers? Can you learn what you have to learn to sell this bottle of wine? And if you can't, then get out. It's not personal. Feminism is not personal, okay? And women who stand on soapboxes and vehemently denounce men are not feminists in the true sense of the word. Yeah, they're rabid feminists. They are people who want to hijack an agenda to make it about them. And usually these people who are screaming about the fact that men are unnecessary, there's no need for them, there's no need for their behaviour, you know, that's driven as a consequence of the Me Too thing, which, to be fair, you know, there's been, look at Harvey Weinstein. He's a slimy git who's used his abilities to get where he is, yeah, and make people stars in their eyes by getting sexual favours for doing it. Now, he was paid a lot of money to do it. Sex shouldn't have entered into it, but of course it did. And over the years, you know, that kind of behaviour has been accepted. That's just the way Hollywood works. Well, not anymore, mate. So he's in trouble with that. But having a rabid reaction to that doesn't help anybody. Having a clear, balanced reaction to that really does. So, you know, the Me Too thing was a great thing because basically it got everyone's ability to talk rationally about these things out in the open. But what upsets me the most, yeah, is people who are shouting for equality, who don't want equality. They want to be more equal than everyone else. They want to have a situation where they are allowed to dictate what men and women in equal measures do, yeah, but they want to be in charge of it, so there is no fairness. You know, if you have a group of people who are like thinkers, but they're men and women who are then going to dictate what happens to everyone else, that's a more balanced view of the world than having some woman dictator say that men are evil. Men need to understand they can be feminists too. They can understand fairness and equality. A lot of men that I know, you know, don't just rail against it because it's fun to do it. You know, it's fun to wind people up. You know, and at the end of the day, if you're going to put your heart on your sleeve and wear all of your emotions up there and you know, wonder why you get upset by everyone's reaction, then maybe you need to toughen up a little bit and have a look at the reality and understand what you're actually fighting for. Being a feminist is fine. Yeah, but shouting and screaming and maligning other genders because you're female is not fine. It's not fine for men to do it. That's what started this whole thing. So no way should women or men be allowed to, you know, shout against other genders. It just makes you wonder, though, you know, how many men don't realise that feminism isn't just exclusively for women. It can be for men too. Something to think about. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, that would be great. Click the bell as well when you subscribe, because then you get updates. I'm going to put up here today, here's yesterday's video, and over there, yes, that's YouTube's pick for you. I'll talk to you later.